That's a very interesting question. The rapture has been a very popular subject in some Christian, fundamentalist Christian circles. The idea that some people will be taken and some people will be left behind has been popularized in a number of novels and I think movies by now. And it is based on some of the writings, some of the gospel, some textual descriptions in the gospels. I think it actually comes as a misinterpretation of those texts. Because you can say that from spiritual point of view, there isn't really another realm where we can live and that can be that can be labeled as heaven. Heaven or hell is right here on earth. It's what we make out of it. So you can say that the rapture would be a disappearance of people who are not awakened. So the people who are staying behind are the ones that stay in heaven, and the ones who are taken just disappear and they're gone. So it's opposite to what those people who are claiming that rapture is, the good people go to heaven and the bad people stay. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever if you look at that worldview, mystical worldview. The mystical worldview tells us that both spiritual realm and this realm is necessary. The realm of God is where nothing happens, there's a stillness and joy and peace. And there's a realm of action, if you will, in which we are, where everything changes and shifts. And both are complementary and absolutely necessary. They're both part of God, stillness and movement. And that's what Gnostic teachings, for example, talk about. So, in a sense, we all have to discover that we are that one God. And when we all discover that and we bring this into reality, this world will change into a much better place. Then the teachings of Buddha, Jesus, and other spiritual masters will not be necessary anymore. Each of us will know that each of us is it, that each of us is God, if you want to call it God, that there is nothing that exists beyond us. And it makes perfect sense to be loving to others and kind to others because this is a part of our mind. That's all that exists. So the way I see the future of humanity is that eventually at some point of time, whether it happens in 2012 or 1,000 years from now or 10,000 years from now, we'll eventually see that this is inevitable, that love is not a luxury, it's a necessity, that we have to treat others like we would want to be treated, that we have to be empathic with others, put ourselves into their shoes. And when that happens, when everyone reaches that stage, this planet turns into a paradise. That's what it was meant to be. And then we'll be able to do everything that Indian mystics and Jesus were able to do. Walk on water, fly, walk through the walls, travel through the galaxies at the blink of an eye. That'll be a perfect world. No disease, no death. If we're able to leave our bodies at will, whenever we want it, and return, what meaning death would have for us? If we could enter other people's bodies at will, what our identity would be. And many mystics tell us that this is the world of the future. I don't know if you're familiar with Brian Weiss's books. He was writing about reincarnation. He accidentally discovered during hypnosis sessions with his patients that he could take people back to previous lives. And he was somewhat shocked, actually quite shocked by that. Didn't know quite what to make out of it, but he found that it was really helping those patients to overcome a variety of anxieties and problems that they had. So he kept doing that and discovering more and more past lives. And at some point of time, one of the patients told him about personal things that she couldn't have known. And then he started believing that this is something real. And he started exploring this on purpose with other patients. More recently, he started taking people into the future. And he takes 200 or 300 people in a room, hypnotizes the whole room, and basically asks them to look into the future, 100 years, 500, 1,000 years from now, and asks them, how does the world look like? And what's interesting is there is pretty high consistency in their descriptions. The world that they ultimately describe is a peaceful world, blissful world, where people are perfectly happy, death doesn't have any meaning, and people are all powerful, like God. So that's the world of the future. That's where humanity's next step in evolution is.